All right, guys, welcome back to episode 4. And before we start with our topic for today, let's just appreciate this beautiful move on gold, man. It just amazes me how so many people complicate trading when all you have to simply do is follow what the market does all of the time. And we spoke about this yesterday on episode 3. This is actually 185, 190 pip move here and the reasons as to why we're considering taking this trade. But before we go over the markets, guys, I just want to again just have another discussion with you because I was thinking today throughout our lives, many of us, find ourselves inadvertently funneled into predefined roles, right? Roles that society deems appropriate or secure. A lot of us are often guided by the invisible hand of societal expectations, and which leads many to become just, what could I say, cogs in a mechanism, right? Or cogs in an expansive machine, just waking up and functioning in, day out, fulfilling duties, um, but not necessarily passions, right? And it's a comfortable rhythm for some. I'm not taking it away from some individuals who are comfortable doing that. I'm not saying it's wrong either, but at the same time, for those like yourself, it comes at a cost. There's this dulling of individuality, and there's this huge suppression of one's dreams and aspirations, right? But the big question really here is this: what if you could break free from that? Instead of being a small replaceable component that you are, you become the architect, the craftsman of your destiny. Really striving to create a legacy is about shifting from passive participation in life to active creation. And it's really about ensuring that your impact, you know, leaves an undeniable mark, not just on the world of today, but on the future generations, right? This is not just about fleeting fame or temporary triumphs. It's about constructing something, that truly lasts for a long time. And the first step really is recognizing that you're not bound by the system, but you can actually transcend in it to really create your story and your legacy for yourself. But I really want to just pause a second and just ask, what if there is another way? What if there is a way to design your path, to break away from the conventions that, whilst most are comfortable, may not truly align with your innermost desires and aspirations? Now, again, don't get me wrong, the system has its merits. And for many, it provides a fulfilling and meaningful life. But I'm sure for most of you who are watching this, perhaps there is a part of you that yearns for something different and yearns for more, right? And that's where the idea of building your own legacy really comes in. Your legacy isn't just about wealth or fame, right? It's about impact. It's the footprint that you're going to leave on the world for your children, for your brothers, for your sisters, for whoever it may be, right? The lives that you touch and the change that you start to usher in when you create that legacy for yourself. You know, the journey to creating lasting legacy is as we know rarely smooth, right? It's like treacherous terrains as a traveler. You're going to encounter challenges that's going to push you to your limits, and there's going to be naysayers. We spoke about that this week. And then there's going to be those that, bound by their own limited perspectives and beliefs, they're going to question your decisions and cast doubt on your ambitions and your goals. And their voices might be loud, and their skepticism might be overbearing, but it's crucial to remember, guys, that their doubts are often born from their own fears and insecurities, right? The familiar allure of the system that most of us live in, or all of us, should I say, live in, with its promise of stability and predictability, it seems tempting, to resign to the fact or to resign and say, I'm going to sit back today, have a burger and you know, chill out and watch Netflix is so much more tempting than actually getting up to the gym and banging out a session or going for a run or eating chicken, broccoli, and brown rice, right? And it gets tougher when the times get tougher, when we start to face problems in our life. And it's kind of like an old anchor, right? Pulling you back to the known harbor when the sea gets rough. But it's really in these moments of uncertainty and trials and tribulations that you go through that your strength really starts to shine, right? Every challenge that you guys face and overcome is not merely just an obstacle, or sorry, yeah, is not merely an obstacle that you've just surpassed, right? It's a testament to your resilience, you know, to your unwavering commitment and your grit and your willpower. I mean, I love that word willpower, right? Each one of you, or each choice that you make, prioritizing passion and purpose over just, you know, mere convention adds to your legacy. And you need to think of it as kind of like building a monument, brick by brick, right? With every hurdle that you cross, you place a brick, and each brick represents a lesson learned or a challenge that you conquered. And by doing so, that's a step closer to the lasting legacy that you envision, right? So even in the face of adversity, I just want to encourage you guys, stay true to your path, right? Because your monumental moment is awaiting. But remember, it starts with one brick at a time. Now, it is essential, guys, to acknowledge that the established system that we're in is not inherently detrimental. I'm not trying to brainwash you guys into believing that, right? It has been built on centuries of societal values and it has its merits, you know, offering a roadmap that a lot of people find fulfilling and grounding. However, the real question that you need to ask yourself and really ponder on is this: does this one size fits all approach resonate with you? And the answer for me is a resounding no. And I'm sure if you're watching this, it's a resounding no for you as well. So if you have that burning desire to really start to tread on uncharted territory and to go down this journey in this path, you know, to make waves in unexplored territories, the confines of the system can and will feel limited. Okay. And the world beyond those confines is vast, right? It's like an open canvas painted with so many different possibilities for you. And all it's waiting for is for you guys to seize them, right? And opportunities don't just come knocking. They're created, sculpted, and nurtured by those who are brave enough to look beyond the horizon. Okay? Your legacy isn't just a distant dream. It's a palatable future that you hold to the brush, or you hold the brush to, should I say, in terms of your canvas. You know, it's an ever evolving masterpiece. And it's one that really requires care, dedication, and most importantly, your unique touch. And every action that you take, every risk, every triumph, and every setback that you go through just simply adds a stroke to this grand painting that you're painting for yourself. So just take a moment, guys, just to introspect, okay? When you get a moment, look deep within yourself and just ask yourself, you know, when the final chapter of your story is written, what legacy do you wish to be remembered for? Okay? And let that question guide you. Let it inspire you. Let it lead you towards a future where your legacy is not just a dream, but it's not just something that's been dreamt, but it's been lived. It's been celebrated and it's been passed on. So that's the topic for today. Let's move on to pound JPY. Oh, let's look at Goldilocks, actually. No, let's go in pound JPY, right? So, guys, not much happening with pound yen today. We spoke about price getting above these structural highs and looking for that continuation. We broke pretty late into the day, which is 2 o'clock. moving into the New York session here, and that's completely fine. I mean, looking at the structure of the market, we have a strong break close above this 183 level, and there are strategies, specifically, well, it doesn't matter what specifically, but there is strategies that you can use to trade this. And from what I can see from a 4H perspective, it does look like there was a very nice tradable opportunity. But for those that are just simply following this price action, looking for simple trend trading, break and retest, what we're going to be looking for again, moving into tomorrow, is just a simple pullback retest continuation. Okay. We don't want to see this bullish sentiment impulsively move to the upside and then all of a sudden break back below 183, and that's it. If this trend is truly shaping up to be a long-term pullback because of pound strength, yen weakness, then we want to be holding 183 or thereabouts. We could come back into some of these higher low levels where price previously touched, which is completely fine. I wouldn't get too excited about selling into this once we break below too soon, because we do have this area here where price can bounce off as a double bottom pattern, just a support level in the market, and continue higher. But ultimately, we'd like to see the price hold 183 tomorrow or during the Asian Frankfurt pre-London session and look for that continuation to the upside. At the moment, everything is playing out as we expected. Pound strength is obviously still very paramount at this moment in time. And now it's just a game of patience, right? Waiting for price to develop, letting the trade come to us, and then looking for those signals on our intraday timeframes to execute those trades. Now, looking at pound USD, again, it was the same plan of action yesterday, right? We're looking for price to break above this area around 22.70, and we closed above, we've held it above this level here during the Asian Frankfurt London pre-London session. And as you can see here, price has continued to move to the upside. Now, just like with GJ, we are seeing this pound strength. We have this push to the upside and the continuation of this push. However, what we're not seeing here is sustainability. Okay, sustainability in the fact that we want to see price closing bullish, holding bullish. We don't really want to see these pullbacks. But as a natural occurrence in terms of price action or development of price action, to say, is push phase, pullback, push phase. Okay. At this moment in time, it looks like it's pulling back to create what we consider or what we call a higher low. And we'll be looking for price to come back into some of these areas tomorrow during higher volume period for a retest and a continuation back to the upside. Just keeping it super simple. And that's all we're looking for. Okay. Remember to cross check, make sure you're looking at that pound strength by validating that with pound JPY. And in terms of this bearish sentiment, make sure you're looking for that depletion with USD weakness by looking at Euro USD, Aussie dollar USD, USD JPY, not necessarily USD JPY, but Euro USD and Aussie dollar USD, to make sure that you're jumping into the market at the right time for that continuation back to the upside, if that's what it's going to do. Now, looking at Euro USD, we haven't broken this high yet. So what we're going to do is just adjust this. We could say we've broken, and I would say we had broken yesterday. But because now we're forming this mini range, it means that there has been obviously a depletion in that bullish sentiment here in terms of that USD weakness and Euro strength. Now we're in a push phase, so there's nothing to be worried about at this moment in time. What we're looking for price to do is simply just give us a nice pullback to some of these levels for a continuation higher, or we're looking for price just to break out of these highs and then looking for that retest and that continuation. Now, the reason why I say this is because we're not looking to trade off of this support. Because if I remove everything from the charts, which I think I can, oh yes. If I remove everything from the charts and we take a look at this, what have we created? A mini range, right? So the reason why we're not using this area as a support level in the market is because if price comes back into this level, the range that we have to play with is just from this low back to this high, with multiple wick rejections indicating that there is a depletion in that bullish sentiment. And even though we buy it off of the lows, what we want to make sure is that if we're taking a trade, let's say from here with a stop loss here, that we have enough range back to the upside, either to go break even on this trade and or better still just have clear traffic so that we don't have to compete with the sellers that may be sitting in and around these areas. Okay, so that's the reason why we are waiting for price to come back down to this low to give it a higher low formation and a clean retest and or a break above these highs retest and a continuation. Moving over to Aussie dollar USD, we're seeing the same thing. So are we now starting to see here a pullback? Because we've had strong push phases all week, right? Or when I say all week, it's only Wednesday, but we've had strong push phases for the best part of the week in terms of USD weakness. And now maybe we are just pulling back for that retest level, you know, however you want to call it, or whatever you want to call it. So for me, the game plan is to wait for price to come back to these levels and look for that continuation. I'm not happy with price breaking out and now breaking back in. So just to be sure, I'm going to be looking for this area here. Now, the difference between this range and the range that we're seeing here in Euro USD, which is the structural low, is that we have a much wider range to take advantage of in terms of buying from these lows. So if price starts to react in and around any of this area here, and we start to see that depletion on lower time frames and that structural change from an intraday perspective, then we'll be looking to buy it back to these highs with the added confluence and the continuation of this intraday trend, the fact that the dollar has shown weakness all week and that price is now just coming back for a retest to form structure and whatever else it's doing, and then we continue this movement back to the upside. If price starts to break it, I'll be looking at Euro USD and saying to myself, okay, if we start breaking these levels, it's a deeper pullback. Pound USD, if we don't support this level, we start breaking it, then we would just have to step away. We'll have to recalibrate, understand the market sentiment again, build the story that we need to give us that confidence and that strong belief in the ideas, in our trading ideas. And then once we have a concrete belief in the trade that we're going to be taking, or the idea that we're going to be taking, then we'll start revisiting it, setting it back up, changing our levels and working with the behavior of the market at that moment in time or tomorrow, better still. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Looking at USD JPY, what did we say again? We said that we want to see price bounce off this level. It has. Are we going to continue to push to the upside? We may or may not. I don't know. But we're still stuck in this range. And as a rule of thumb, I'm not buying or selling from here. I don't care what happens. From a simple price action perspective, because we're trapped in a range, I'm just looking for sells or buys off of these levels, or break above continuations or break belows and continuation. So USD JPY for me is just helping me to gauge the strength of the dollar. And as you can see, we've held support at 148.31. We are pushing bullish, indicating that USD strength. So maybe, just maybe, if we see this continue to push the upside, we might start breaking some structural lows. We might pull back deeper into some of these retest levels, and we might not hold this level. Okay. So you guys, well, more often than not, or most of you, should I say, use the dollar index and the yen index and other indexes. I personally don't. I just look at the currency strength as an intraday trader, using the pairs to identify what is the behavior at this moment in time, or what is the sentiment of the market at this moment in time, when the shifts are happening at this moment in time, and when there's not a shift happening, etc., etc. And then I just build that into the story or narrative that is being developed on the charts from experience of what happens over and over again. And then I, create these trade ideas. Okay. So this is how I do it. Okay. Now looking at Goldilocks, this is still indicating to us dollar weakness, right? But we don't really want to associate gold to dollar weakness too much, but there is a correlation when there wants to be a correlation, and we have seen that correlation this week specifically. And guys, I mean, this is just such a beautiful trade. I know a few of you were able to take it. I got some private messages from you, some really well done. In terms of what's happening now, I think with Goldilocks, I'm really content with this move or how this move has happened. If you waited since Monday to trade gold using even these other pairs to really just knuckle down and identify a trading setup that you are fully happy with and confident with, and instead of risking 1%, you'll be happy to risk 2 or 3% because you're so confident in this trade and you only take high probability setups, and this was the one, then guess what, guys? You're finishing your week 3R up, right? Based on this trade idea. 3R this week, 3R the second week, 3R the third week, and 3R the fourth week. That's one trade a week. I mean, you're going to have losses, but technically that puts you well above the 10% that any of you need to pass a challenge and or a verification to get funded. And this really just stresses the importance, guys, of patience, being consistent with your approach, waiting for higher probability setups, and instead of playing the defensive game, go on the offense. Don't risk 0.5% per trade or 1% per trade and take 10 trades in a week when you can sit back and wait for a high probability setup and risk 1.5 or 2% per trade and get yourself in setups like this. Okay. Now, it's not as simple as that, but I just want to give you guys some things to think about. And just on that note, just so you know, as a disclaimer, this is not financial advice. Okay. This is for educational purposes only. And everything I'm telling you is not the truth. It is just of my own opinion, and nothing is 100% facts. Anyway, what's the plan with Goldilocks? At the moment, I'm not sure. Okay. We're quite extended right now. We're in a very strong push phase. We're looking at 3 bullish candles. We are likely to see a pullback. Okay. So if we see a pullback, what are we looking for a pullback? Well, we have a nice retest level here again. Retest levels don't necessarily mean that price will respect them every single time. But this is kind of the play that I'm looking for. If I'm looking for continuation buys or looking to add to my position around 1865, I much prefer price not to pull back during the Asian into the Frankfurt pre-London session. I much prefer price to continue this bullish sentiment, and then at some point tomorrow or even on Friday, look for that retest and then that continuation to the upside. But yeah, I mean, there's no but. That's the reviews for this week, guys. So hope you're enjoying them. If you are, let me know down in the comments. And until tomorrow, take it easy. Bye for now.